Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you're new. I wanted to just put a quick video out there. I have let people know on my Facebook page. If you first started following me when I was only loom knitting, I'm no longer loom knitting because I learned to needle knit. And I'm also doing a lot of crochet. I'd learned to crochet when I was little, but I'd never made a hat, and I had not crocheted in, I don't even know what, 40 something years probably. I did it when I was little, but then I had not done it really in my adult life, so it was like starting over again. Crochet is not at all hard to learn. I have a beginner video on how to do, it's a summer hat with a brim. It's not really a winter beanie. Crystal at Bag O Day Crochet has some really good videos. Crochet is not at all hard to learn. The good thing about it, if you mess up, you can just rip it out and start over. It's not like knitting, where knitting's a little more challenging if you miss a stitch or drop a stitch to tink back, which means to unknit what you've done to get back to your mistake. But I've done that. I've learned to do that. I struggled with learning to knit for a long time. I learned to loom knit first, and I always wanted to needle knit. And I don't just mean days or weeks, probably years. I would pick it up and I would get frustrated and I would say, oh, I can't do this. Well, my mother always said, can't never could do anything. So my grandma said that. My mom said, you can do anything you put your mind to. So I kept looking. Everybody learns differently, and you may have looked at 20 videos and you didn't get any of them. Like, that's kind of what I went through, till I finally found some videos from people that I could follow and learn the stitch. And that's how I learned. I taught myself on YouTube. I even tried to go to a local knit shop with a really sweet lady that tried to teach me. She wanted me to use these little teeny needles and little bitty yarn. And I think everybody starting out needs to use 13 or 15 needles and very big yarn. That way you don't have to knit a lot, and it's easier to see and easier to do. And I'm sorry, I don't know what my dog's barking at. He hears the wind blow and he barks. He's silly that way. Anyway, once you learn to knit, I promise you, it is so much more efficient. It's more versatile. You can knit stuff so fast, for instance, that you can't do on the loom. This is called the Madison Beanie. It's a beautiful pattern. It's on Etsy. It's so quick because you don't even have to knit every stitch. You're slipping some stitches, and all that is moving the stitch from one needle to the other. It doesn't even require you to do anything. So there are a lot of patterns that are knit one, slip one, which means just move it over from one needle to the other, purl one, slip one, and it goes so fast. And they travel so much easier when you're on a plane or something than trying to tote your looms around. So I promise you, please stick with knitting. I have, of course, the beginner video for my cozy beanie, my quick and cozy beanie, that's super fast and super easy to learn. It's just the brim is knit and purl. Then I did a garter ridge, and this is all just the knit stitch. You get such a nice flat top. It's not all bunched up and gathered like you get on when you're on the loom. It's really, really nice. So just to show you the difference. So this is an older hat that I did on the loom, and you see how it kind of, it's almost like a bell shaped, right? So this brim should really be like that, is what it would look like with a really nice hat. This is knitted on needles. Do you see how much nicer I think that looks with the brim? It's not a big bell. It comes in and it's a little bit tighter. And also you get this nice star. I know it's hard to see with the pom-pom on here, but you get this nice top with kind of a star stitch. See how that goes around? And that looks really nice, as opposed to how it's just all gathered up and bunched up on the loom knit beanie. So I just really like the look of knitting. It's more versatile. It's easier to travel. All of that. These are all super easy needle knit patterns that I've done that you can do. This is a waffle stitch. If you've done the waffle stitch on the loom, it's the same thing on needles. This is another one. This is called the Shaughnessy hat. It's another pattern, super easy. It's another one where you're slipping stitches, knit one, slip one in some places. This is super easy. This was just a rib stitch hat, and I just added a purl. So knit one, purl one, and then I just added like a row of purl every, I don't know, 5 or 6 rows or so. These are all crochet hats from Crystal at Bag O' Day Crochet. This one, super easy to learn. This one is Crystal at Bag O' Day Crochet. This is called the Seed Stitch Beanie. This is from Kirsten, I'm sorry, I don't know which, Holloway. Super easy to do. It's just single crochet, double crochet, single crochet, double crochet. Really easy, nice pattern. I learned to crochet in the round. So what I used to dislike about crochet patterns is, one, if you join every round, you get an ugly seam in the back. But I learned to crochet in the round, so you're crocheting in a continual spiral. So instead of joining each row, you're just continuing on around the hat. Super easy to learn. And then I thought, well, I like the rib stitch on knit hats, right? Well, I found out a way to do it on the crochet hats. And see, that looks almost exactly like a knit hat. So I took this pattern, okay, on this hat, and I used it on this one, but instead of doing this type of edging on it, I put a ribbed edging. And it's super easy to do. So I think I don't know if I did a video regarding that, but I encourage you to branch out, learn to crochet something. Just start with something simple, like a square, a pot holder. It doesn't have to be a hat or a scarf or anything. Learn to crochet. There are so many good people that teach crochet on YouTube. Bee Hooked Crochet is really good. Fiberflux, Jennifer at Fiberflux is good. Crystal at Bag O' Day Crochet is good. She's not a super beginner teacher. Hers are more advanced. But there are a lot of, if you put in learn to crochet, the girl at Bee Hooked I think is a really good teacher. So there are a lot of people and a ton of videos. Mikey at the Crochet Crowd teaches crochet on YouTube, and he's really good and patient. So I have one beginner hat video on my YouTube channel, and then I have a summer crochet hat that's also beginner friendly on my YouTube channel as well. So branch out. You can do this, okay? You can learn. Trust me, if I can learn, anybody can learn, because I struggled with the knitting thing for so long. And I would do something and then I would drop a stitch and I would get frustrated, because in knitting it's really difficult to correct your work. And that's something that I waited and learned a little bit later. So if I made a mistake, I would just keep on going. So if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. Just keep on going. Don't frog the whole thing. Keep on going until you get, used to the knit and the purl stitches. Then once you get used to doing all of that, you can learn how to tink or unknit. So you can go into YouTube and put learn to unknit or learn to tink, and you can take out your stitches. And I've learned to do that, and I've done it a ton of times. So it saves you from having to completely start over again, because pretty much if you miss a stitch in knitting and you're already a row above it, you would have to tink all the way back to the row where you made the mistake. So what I got used to doing is just continuing my project. If it had a mistake in it, I just finished it, completed it, and said, okay, next time I'm going to get better at this, pay attention to what I'm doing. Crochet, I think, is super easy. You're only using one hook. So it's really, really, really easy to learn, and there's so many good teachers on YouTube. And if you have any questions about that, I can give you a few people that I think would be really good, but I already mentioned several of them. So keep on branching out in your fiber arts skills. Try to learn something new. Try to learn to crochet or try to learn to knit, whatever you think you may want to do. I love doing both, and crochet gives you so much. I don't know how to describe it. It's just, you can do so many things. For instance, those little towel rings that I've made, so much fun to crochet, super easy to do, really quick. You can knock them out, one out in 30 minutes. It's very rewarding. You go, oh, hey, I finished a project. If you mess up, you can just rip it out to wherever your mistake is and keep going. So I just encourage you to branch out, try different things. I have left up some of my loom knitting videos, the more popular ones. I will leave up, but I will not be doing any more because my main focus now is going to be knit and crochet. And I hope to have more knitting and crochet patterns, but you know, learning to design patterns after you learn the craft is a whole other ball game, because you have to learn about increases and decreases, and it requires a little bit of math and strategy and figuring out what's going to look good when you know, if you're crocheting, you can either crochet from the bottom up or the top down. I like crocheting from the top down. I have not yet tried to do anything from the bottom up, just because I can do the ribbed brim on any hat from the top down, so that's what I prefer to do. But I will challenge myself, and I will do a bottom up hat in crochet, because I think you need to get out of, you know, I believe in getting out of my comfort zone and out of my little box of this is, you know, what I want to do. So anyway, keep on plugging away, try to learn a new craft, try to, you know, crochet just a little square, try to knit a row of just regular knit stitch. And you don't have to go knit a hat or anything. You can just get some knitting needles and try a real easy beginner video. Even, like I said, just a pot holder or something, a square. As the very funny comedian Rob Schneider says, you can do it! So anyway, I hope that encourages you to learn a new craft. And if you have any questions, you can always message me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram too. And happy knitting and crocheting.